your typical day look like now, just as your business has evolved?
Yeah. So, I start my morning. I usually start my morning with some meditation and a quick exercise and some journaling. And then that rolls into some time with the family. I usually make breakfast for the family, watch the World Surf League or the Red Bull channel before I go into work. And then when I get into the office, I might have like a level 10 meeting because we do the entrepreneur's operating system. I've got a couple of virtual assistants in the Philippines. And then I've got a couple of local people I work with that are contractors for the business. So like yesterday, we were shooting video from 2 to 6 p.m. At my house and up at Mount Trashmore for our fitness brand. But my time is mostly spent in meetings, talking to other people, and networking. I do have some tasks that I still need to get done that, I've been lagging on.
So you have go ahead, Zach.
So you have your own office, though? It's not at home?
I do. I got my own office this year. We've got 3 kids at the house, and it just got a little difficult.
So before you were doing it from the house, and then you realized at some point they were nagging you. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at home up until just a few months ago.
So in terms of like meditation, exercise, journaling, all that kind of stuff, is that something? Are those habits you picked up based on the groups that you're part of?
So I actually got into when I was younger. When I was a late teenager, I made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of stupid stuff, which I'm sure most of us can relate. But I got myself into some.
Nope, I'm a perfect child. Never done anything bad in my life. Tim too. We're perfect. Sorry, Nick. We're just we don't understand what you're talking about.
I had to get out of Virginia Beach though, man, and I moved to Winchester, Virginia. My mom is from there, and I have some family there. And I took a job working for a organic community supported agriculture. And so we were growing vegetables and also started making biodiesel. And that kind of kicked off my passion into like health and nutrition and mindset. I was also going through a big change and really needed to make some changes in my life. So I really got into mindset and just started meditating. Started reading a lot and just like really getting into like the spiritual side of things, and just kind of developed my own little thing, and then I got into like Headspace. So now I just keep it simple and I use Headspace to meditate.
That's the app you use, Headspace. Yeah. So Tim had brought Jason Calacanis to Start Peninsula, which is like a build a company in a weekend competition about 2 or 3 years ago. And Jason was one of the early investors in Calm.com, CALM.com, which is probably, I don't know, Headspace is number 1 competitor, something like that. And he had told us how the guy would get put in, I don't know, what is it, 250 grand, and it's worth like 25 billion now. What are the numbers, Tim, or something like that?
Yeah, I can't remember what the latest valuation is, but it's billions.
Something ridiculous, something small to something ridiculous, right? And so it's interesting how something like that was, I always say, frowned upon. Meditation was frowned upon. People say it wasn't frowned upon. It just wasn't, people didn't know what it was. But even something that was done in a place before where you would meditate kind of or do yoga in a very simple place, now stuff like that gets sold online. It's wild how those businesses are digitizing and becoming multi-billion-dollar businesses in just a couple of years. So it's pretty fascinating stuff. How'd you learn about how did you learn about meditating? I know you were going through a bad time, but like, were you at like a facility? Not a facility. Were you at like a place where you would go and actually do that, or how did all that?
It kind of just hit me. Like, I don't really know where it came from, man. I was living in a house with a group of guys in Winchester, and like out of nowhere,
This is like the early 2000s?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I just had this huge desire to like get into health and mindset and fitness. And I just chased it down. Like I would sit on the computer and like research stuff on PubMed all day after pulling weeds out on the farm all day long. And like I was the happiest person ever.
It's interesting how all those things that have to do with exercise, health, and things like that, it seems to not be the talk of COVID. It seems to be a vaccine. It seems to be things that are a lot more uncontrollable, if you will. And obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I was reading this article yesterday that came out of UVA that said if you exercise a lot or some amount, it probably can help push COVID away. And it's interesting that that's not the kind of talk that you hear about with this. As someone who's so enthusiastic about fitness and things like that, I mean, does COVID scare you from that perspective, or do you feel like, I'm Nick Shucet, I got it? Like, how does Nick and COVID handle himself?
Yeah, I definitely, it's not something I'm super worried about personally. I wear the masks and I, maintain distance and stuff because I don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. But I'm not too concerned about it on a personal level. And, you're spot on. Like, people don't talk about the things that are a little more difficult to implement, like, changing your diet up a little bit or committing to some exercise. I think people, when you talk about diet and exercise, they have these ideas that, it's these big changes they have to make, and it's like a completely different lifestyle. And really, something is doing a 10-minute walk each day can really have a big impact on your life. And if you take a look at it from like a habit perspective, I think that's where people need to focus is, building new habits, whether it's 1 week or 1 month at a time, instead of saying, I'm going to stop eating bacon. I'm going to work out 5 days a week. I'm not drinking beer. I'm going to stop smoking cigarettes. Like, trying to do all that at once is too hard, man.
Yep. I hear you. But it is interesting because it's not like fitness isn't a multi-billion, maybe even trillion-dollar business. So it's not like, or industry. So it's not like there's not opportunities there for them to be there. But I mean, I guess a lot of people have gym memberships and never show up. Yeah. So good for the gyms, but bad for I'm sure the gym wants you to actually show up and do something. Yeah,
I think that's what it is, people, they want to eat healthy. They want to exercise.
But they're not really willing to do it. They want it in a pill form. Right. They'd rather get COVID gone, buy a shot. Right. Got it. But I think that's why some people are successful in business and some people aren't, right? I think you can really pair everything to business, right? Life, fitness, COVID. And so it's like, well, how hard are you willing to do it, right? I mean, how many people's New Year's resolutions for 2020 were to get fit, right? Or something, right? Whatever it is. And then, starting, middle of March, the United States said, we need you to follow this instead. And they basically punted that. How hard did you want it, right? David Goggins wouldn't let you do that. I mean, come on. Do you know who David Goggins is?
Yeah.
He is definitely trying to stay hard during all these times.
Yeah. And, COVID messed me up. I had just had my third son, was born in March. And, my daughter was 2 years old. And like me and my wife used to go to the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week. Daughter slowed that down. My son slowed that down. COVID hit. And like, I was up to like 225 pounds because all I was doing was working all day and I felt like crap. So, I kind of leaned on being able to exercise to maintain my physique and be able to eat kind of whatever I wanted. But that changed and I had to take a step back, and I actually lost 30 pounds by doing just through diet, which I've never really done before, but I had to make the change because I was tired of feeling.
And what did that take? 3-4 months?
3 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a third of a pound a day, which isn't that crazy. And so it is interesting as you talk about this, like from a business perspective, right? So I kept thinking, and I didn't talk about this before, but it was like you made one sale, right? If you can make that one sale, 2 sales to then 3 sales, that compounding effect helps. And then you see a lot more money in your bank account. Same thing. If you can not eat that extra Halloween candy that's at your house, as I'm thinking to myself as I say this, right?
Yeah.
Like all those little things compound. And so it's so interesting how we make 30,000 decisions a day. And it's like that one little decision every single day to eat that, those 2 Starbursts that are just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
How it can affect you in such a negative way. So kudos to you for losing that 35.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tim, what are your thoughts?
I think you captured everything, Zach. What else is there to say?
I don't know. I mean, I think 3 guys with beards is pretty good.
2020 definitely seems to be the year of the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about? Or what's something on the horizon with Amazon or e-commerce that people aren't seeing that you think is going to be the future?
I think now's the time to jump into e-commerce. COVID, forced a lot of I'm trying to think of the way to say this. Like people had these estimations, these projections of how e-commerce was going to change, and COVID accelerated that immensely.
Yeah, I always say it was the things that were going to happen 7 years down the line. It just happened to happen now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now's the time to get in. Shipping's a little crazy and the fulfillment centers are a little crazy. So you got to be aware of that. But, even if it's not Amazon, set up your own store on Shopify. Makes it so easy, man. You don't need to talk to anyone else. Just go on Shopify, start a store, and follow all their prompts and stuff. I just did that again with a store, and I was blown away at how easy Shopify makes it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of our previous guests, Nate Shucet, he manufactures swim pace clocks. I think he uses Shopify, and he didn't used to, or WooCommerce or something like that. And he's just like, yeah, they print the label and then I put it on the box. And by the way, when you use something like that, you save like 50% on postage. So it's wild. So
yeah,
Nick, it's been Please.
Yeah, I was going to say, if people are interested in learning about how to resell, definitely go check out the Arbitrage Blueprint. That's everything I used to build the business. And I think it's just such a great way to learn business skills by selling on Amazon. You're going to learn how to manage your money and how to hire an employee, how to manage an employee and things like that. And when I look back on my journey, I see, because I've got a GED. I didn't finish high school. I didn't go to college. Selling on Amazon was my crash course in business. And I'm just really grateful for it. And I think it can help a lot of people get started.
And you have $7 million in sales. So you did okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, pretty good. So, well, Nick, appreciate your time today. Looking forward to a ongoing relationship with you. And Tim, always good to see you. And it's cold out, so I'm going to go put a winter jacket on, some gloves, because I'm freezing. It's
chilly, man.
Until next time, peace and pancakes, y'all.
All right, guys.